Good morning to some and good afternoon to others. Appreciate you all joining us today to cover a deep dive on Business Central and D365 Customer Engagement integration. Really excited to show you a few ways to definitely integrate data and keep things moving between the two, but also look at some scenarios where you may not need to integrate, looking at considerations and best practices and really diving into how can we best bring these applications together and make sure that our users on every side of the fence are well versed and well engaged with the data they need from each system. And just one thing I should note too, when we talk about customer engagement, that could really be anything inside of D365, whether it's field service, project service, sales, customer service, marketing, everything in there can definitely be included in kind of what we're going to showcase today. So if you're thinking about those particular projects, those could be an awesome fit for some of what we're going to show today. So today, what we're going to cover, we're going to look at kind of to integrate or not to integrate. So obviously, we'll focus on integration, but also kind of blurring the lines on integration and reporting. So how can we not only see the data we need from Business Central inside of D365 or vice versa? When do we need to integrate data? When don't we need to integrate data? Maybe looking at some considerations, some complexities, and how can we kind of navigate those things in the most efficient manner so that we're not only delivering an awesome experience that in customer, that in client or yourselves, and making sure that we're maximizing our time, energy, and resources to bring everything together. So walk through everything on a demo. We'll circle back with some things to look at out of, considering not only tools like SmartConnect and PopDoc, which we'll see today, but also looking at ways that we can, there's some other ways to bring some data together. What should we consider between these two, and obviously Q&A throughout as well. So don't hesitate to jump in. Really looking forward to sharing with everybody, and appreciate you all carving the time out of your day. And we'll definitely get everyone out of here in less than 30 minutes. So all right, to get started, before we hop into the demo, again, to integrate or not to integrate, really looking at how can we work smarter, not harder when we're building out integrations. So looking at first off, when do we need to truly integrate data? And when I say integrate data, I'm talking about creating data, in Business Central from customer engagement or vice versa, updating data between the two, deleting records between the two. Those are scenarios for true integration. So maybe it's, again, taking opportunities and converting those into invoices, updating contact information between systems, automating business processes. So maybe when we are, selling certain items, we want those to be followed up with by our customer service team on a more scheduled basis. So all those customizations, the processes, the, again, needs for creates, updates, and deletes, those are areas and ways where true integration needs to take place. We've got to actually transform data in one application or the other. But a lot of times people are integrating data just so that it's visible in one application or the other. So a lot of times we're really moving data into customer engagement from Business Central, for example, just so that our customer service and sales teams have access to it. We'll kind of look at today ways that you don't need to necessarily integrate that data to make it actionable, to make it visible, again, in real time for those teams to work with. Same thing along those lines is data storage. So looking at, okay, how much data do we really need to store inside of D365 or inside of Business Central? If that data lives in another application and we need to only display that, maybe there's a better way. If we don't need to truly have that data live inside the application, we can save in some data storage costs. That can be a big reason to, again, potentially not integrate some scenarios when we need to integrate others. And then the inherent complexity that goes with true integration. Again, when we need that, it's gold, but there is some complexity to building out integration, the web services on each side, all of those types of things. Yet, if we only need to display data, a lot of times that can be a little bit more simple of a lift. It's easier to maintain long term. So we'll kind of walk through a few of these today in our demo in just a few moments, but I wanted to kind of get your brains thinking on, okay, what areas truly need to be integrated, what don't need to be integrated, and looking at, the use cases that you're working with customers or yourselves on in Business Central and customer engagement, whether that's field service, sales, project service, automation, all those fun things. All right, let's start to bring this to life a little bit. So whoops, there we go. So again, we'll focus on SmartConnect today and PopDoc. So SmartConnect is the true integration platform, looking at how can we integrate customer engagement, Business Central, or integrate those apps with virtually any other system or application out there. Maybe it's some old legacy databases where we're tapping in at a SQL and RDBC level. Maybe it's integrating with a series of flat files, whether that's anything on the XML, CSV, Excel files, FTP sites, anywhere other data might live, and obviously, any of those cloud applications that might be outside of D365 or Business Central. So things like Concur, Zendesk are pretty popular ones, but really anything with an API, SmartConnect can tap into that as a source or a destination. So look at that from the true integration standpoint. In addition to showcasing PopDoc, which allows us to make data actionable and visible in one system or the other without the need for true integration. So this is going to be real time, embedded, actionable widgets. We'll see this not only in Business Central, we'll see it in customer engagement, and we'll see the live data that we're going to be inputting, kind of moving throughout the entire process between these two platforms. We'll dive into PopDoc and SmartConnect itself to look at features, functionality, things that you're really going to want to be able to maximize and utilize within each application. But PopDoc itself has its own interface, so we'll dive into that. We'll look at the ability to custom report across not only Business Central and customer engagement, but virtually any other application that you're using within your business. And again, that's all real time. And another piece to touch on is the ability to have scheduled exception reporting. So if your teams don't have time to monitor and maintain data, PopDoc can really automate a lot of the reporting behind that. So maybe it's notifications that customers have gone over their credit limits being sent to people on your sales team. Again, they're not monitoring that data inside of Business Central, but PopDoc can easily keep track of that and update them on a scheduled list report across everything they need to. All right, let's bring this to life on our live demo. So our kind of scenario today, we're going to look at data coming into an e-commerce site. That data will flow into customer engagement. It'll flow into Business Central. We'll see both PopDoc and SmartConnect working in conjunction with each other. We'll see this data flow back between the systems, and we'll kind of talk through a couple other scenarios as well. Then we'll dive into each application and kind of show you a little bit of what's going on behind the scenes. So without further ado, let's bring this to life. All right. So here's our kind of the headline of our e-commerce site. We're going to go ahead and enter a new order. We'll have Danny here at Danny's Cycles, and he's going to place a few orders with us this morning. He's going to order some unicycles, couple flat tires, and some broken rims to go with that as well. So again, this could be a website, this could be a portal, this could be virtually any e-commerce site out there. So again, kind of showing a few of those different interactions, but a really good place to get our demo started. So what's going on behind the scenes? This is a real-time integration. So with SmartConnect, you've got the ability to do real-time integrations, schedule bulk integrations, changes only, and that can be completely customized and flexible based on each different scenario that you're integrating. What SmartConnect's doing in the background is it's creating customers, creating accounts and contacts inside of customer engagement. It's associating those contacts as a primary contact. It's adding those individuals to a marketing list. It's creating invoices in CRM, and it's also creating customers and invoices on the Business Central side. So again, using just a couple of these details, SmartConnect is automating all of that behind the scenes. So if we go ahead and dive into customer engagement, I go ahead and look at accounts that we've created today. There we go. So these are all the accounts that we've created today. Danny Cycles has been created. Rolling columns, that's another transformation. So we can see that SmartConnect is creating new account numbers for each new account as it comes in and creating those in a sequential basis. If we go ahead and pull open Danny's account, we can see, okay, there's the contact that was created. We can see the account, we can see our invoices that have been created on the CRM side, and let's go ahead and make a couple updates. We'll go ahead and add in an address for the team here. We'll put them in Vero Beach, Florida today. That sounds great. And now this is going to trigger an integration to Business Central to update the address. But It hasn't done that yet because we built some criteria around this. So this is the first really big consideration I like to touch on when you're looking at integration and what data you need to integrate or what data you don't need to integrate, or more importantly, probably when that data needs to be integrated. So within this integration, we've told SmartConnect, we only want you to send updates to Business Central for accounts when they are flagged as customers. Again, this is a real-time integration. So the moment I hit save with that relationship type flagged as customer, that's what's triggering SmartConnect to fire and update that data inside Business Central. But that way, any other record types that you're utilizing, whether it's partners, potential customers, prospects, competitors, all the other entities that you might have inside customer engagement, you can really dictate to say, okay, we only want these records to be updated when these certain criteria, these flags are met. Again, that's a big advantage of a tool like SmartConnect, completely customized so it can match your processes and your business and the way that you need to work with your data. Same thing might work, with opportunities or invoices. Maybe at certain stages of that sales process are met, or on the field service side, certain stages within a particular work order, that can be built into, again, a tool like SmartConnect to trigger different circumstances on the Business Central side. Some of you also might have noticed this aspect here. So this is really what we call a PopDoc widget. So we've got one not only here, but we've got a more in-depth one a little bit deeper, and this is tied back at the account level. So what this is showing is this is real-time Business Central data that hasn't been integrated into customer engagement. It's only being displayed inside this real-time PopDoc widget. So again, this is tied back at the account level. So we're looking at not only account and customer inside Business Central, and we're showing only invoices in this instance for Danny Cycles inside of their account and customer engagement. And this is completely customizable. So I can see not only the header for that invoice, but I can also dive in a little bit deeper and look at each line item on that invoice. So I've got all the orders that we just placed, rims, tires, unicycles, all of that coming to my team in real time without integration. It's just being displayed here inside this widget. Now this data is completely customizable. So I can go ahead and I can pull columns out if I want to. If I want to go ahead and add in any column, I could do that. So I have complete customization of flexibility here to add any number of filters and completely manipulate this data so I'm getting exactly what I want when I need to. PopDoc also makes data actionable. So I've got the ability here through the PopDoc actions with Business Central to open up that customer directly inside of Business Central. So Business Central allows us to look at customers, look at invoices. So using that action, if I have Business Central credentials and a login, it's going to completely automate that for me. And now I'm looking at his customer card inside Business Central. So there we go. There's the address that we inputted just a little bit ago inside customer engagement. SmartConnect's brought that over. I can flip over to invoices and I can see the invoice that we created earlier from the e-commerce site with all the products that we entered. And I can go ahead and create a new invoice, for example. So what we've built out within our, again, demo scenario here is the ability for SmartConnect to handle a couple different automations based on different triggers that we've built in on the Business Central side. So one of those is looking at customers who are purchasing more higher end goods with us. How can we take better care of them on not only the sales but also the customer service side? And one of those is our performance bikes. That's one of our most expensive products. So we've built out the automation inside SmartConnect to say, okay, anytime a customer purchases a performance bike, we want you to create an activity for our team to circle back and connect with that individual about a week after their purchase. So SmartConnect, since we created that invoice inside Business Central, if I go ahead and refresh their account tab here, SmartConnect is not only going to create that invoice inside customer engagement, but it's also going to create and automate those different activities that we have built out. So the beauty is I go ahead and refresh that here, we are going to see that data come in real time. So I can see that the data hasn't quite come into CRM yet, and that's fine. SmartConnect's working on that behind the scenes, but this shows you the impact of those real-time PopDoc widgets where that data does live in Business Central. So I can see that now again in real time from Business Central, even though it hasn't come into CRM yet, or customer engagement. And again, if I want to look at the line items, there's my one for my performance bike, and I can flip that back to the earlier order they placed with us as well. So again, real time, seeing the data I need while SmartConnect's working behind the scenes to create that new invoice that we have there in addition to the activities. And I'm going to go ahead and just enter a phone number as well. I forgot to do that earlier, but that's always important. So we'll go ahead and save that piece as well. So while that's firing, I want to show you a different instance a different way to use PopDoc between Business Central and customer engagement. So this is what we call a favorite widgets. This is specific to just invoices and specific to the specific account levels. We're only going to see invoices for Danny's cycles within this particular widget that we've built out. Yet we can take that to a much deeper level. Again, eliminating the need for a lot of integration. So we've built here what we call an application widget, and this can pull back virtually anything inside Business Central. We could cross-reference that data with reports and things from customer engagement. We can also bring in data from outside systems, looking at Zendesk, for example. So again, this could be any one of virtually any other application out there. These are a few that we've built into this scenario, but if I come in here and pull up sales invoices, I can grab any particular company. So if I want to grab every single company for my Business Central environment, maybe I only want to grab a couple of them. Again, that's completely customizable, and I can grab just the data I want. Again, this is in real time, so it's pulling back that data in real time for me across all the companies inside BC, and I can completely manipulate that and work with that as I want to at any point in time. I'm actually going to go ahead and select all my companies. There we go. And now I can really work with that data at even deeper level, just like you saw me doing at the account level. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to remove customer number. I'm not too worried about that field. So let's take that away. Perfect. And I want to actually go ahead and group on customer name. So I'm going to go ahead and collapse all of these. We're going to group on customer name, and now I'll be able to see totals and line items across each of a customer that we're working with. Let me try that back. Okay, there we go. Now we're grouping. We're also going to go ahead and add in some filters here. So I only want to look at invoices that have come in from the start of the last quarter. So again, you can see I have a lot of different options there. I can really get very granular on this. I can look at the number of max records. I can add any number of additional filters on this, but I can get pretty specific in just the data that I'm looking at within this particular scenario. So there we go. I've got all of those broken down. I can collapse them. So I've got customer, now I've got revenue for just this month total, but also revenue by each individual company. And I can look at those at a deeper level if I want to, each individual invoice. Again, I can add any number of filters to that. I can also flip this to a chart so I can make it more visual. So looking at, okay, total quantity sold, broken out by a particular company. So again, a lot of flexibility, a lot of customization that you can build in here. And the ability is too, if I want to just go ahead and clear all these filters out, let's do that. And I'm going to return back to where I was looking at before. This is just invoices. This could be, again, really any entity within Business Central, within any other application. Additionally, we can pull back data from multiple systems. So we showed you line items before, and I can do the same thing here to look at line items within a particular invoice. I also have the ability to then cross-reference that against data from other applications. So in this instance, we're looking at shipping data. So this is real-time shipping data from USPS showing me each history and a stage within that shipping process, or overall, where was that package at? When did that get delivered to our customer? So anyone who's doing shipping and receiving, manufacturing, distribution, this is huge. Again, you can see I've never left CRM, but I'm looking at every single Business Central invoice. I can see real-time shipping data. Maybe that's data from an e-commerce site, or maybe it's from a credit card gateway, or again, really any other application. Shipping is a very popular one, and we can dive into that a little bit deeper later, but multiple systems, multiple applications, yet real-time, no integration needed without ever leaving the core application. So that's where PopDoc can really be an awesome complement to SmartConnect when you need to truly integrate data. All right, let's flip back to Danny's account just to close the loop on that one. And we're going to come in here, and I'm going to flip this to take a look at his activities. And we can see there, SmartConnect went ahead and we created that automated phone call. And we did this even, this came through a handful of minutes ago to say, okay, they ordered that performance bicycle. We're going to give them a call in a week. We want to make sure they're having an awesome experience. We want to make sure that they are really satisfied with that purchase, that we can, maybe look at adding them to a service plan or an ongoing maintenance tool. Again, a great way to automate and integrate some things and take that to really another level outside of just standard updates and deletes between the two systems, but to really look at how can you better run your business, automate some processes, handle some data transformation with true integration like SmartConnect, in addition to just displaying data like we saw on the PopDoc side. You've seen some favorite widgets with PopDoc. You've seen some application widgets. You've seen some true integration with SmartConnect, and we can also, take those PopDoc widgets to a deeper level. Here we've got one again from an outside system, and I could be looking at this just at the contact level. So, long story short, a lot of flexibility there. And then the same thing holds true on the Business Central side, is the ability for us to embed true PopDoc reporting at this level. So when I'm inside Business Central, I can pull back data from virtually any application within my PopDoc application widget. So again, gives me a lot of flexibility on that side of the fence too. If I want to see all of my customer engagement data without ever leaving Business Central, PopDoc can be easily embedded inside here as well. Dive in a little bit deeper. So let's dive into the SmartConnect interface first. So here's smartconnect.com. So it's entirely in the cloud. So really the go-to for Business Central for field service, customer engagement, anything you're doing on that side of the fence. Makes it really easy to not only build out, but also maintain these integrations for the long term. So looking at all of our processes, we've got real-time updates on each integration that we've run, the maps that were run there, the ability to quickly see who's been logging in from a user standpoint. Building out connections is incredibly easy. Whoops, it actually logged me out, which is the security thing, so that's great. While I was running and gunning on the customer engagement and the Business Central side, so we'll flip back in here. We'll look at each connection that we've built out on either BC or D365. Again, we talked about the different file connections, any application that I need to integrate with. Once I have those connections built out, I'm able to then define my either bulk or change or real-time triggers. So each of my data sources, so maybe that's things like accounts, contacts, opportunities, invoices, invoice headers and line items, all those different pieces, I can define those here. And the beauty is once I build those out for either Business Central as a source or a source on the D365 side, I can use those over and over again. So if it's accounts, if it's contacts, again, whatever it might be, any custom application, any custom entity within inside Business Central or CRM, it's really limitless. Everything that they expose, SmartConnect can tap into. And once I build that source once, I can reuse it as many times as I want to for any additional integration. Once I've got my sources built out, it's really as easy from there as going ahead and arranging and mapping my different integration processes, we call them. So this is one that's updating, again, real-time accounts to customers from D365 to BC. We've got those sources built. I can use those for any integration. When I dive in here, here's where I have the ability to easily kind of map and modify and transform sources, targets, and any automation that I need to take place behind the scenes. So I've got all those here, really easy to work with and build these out, not only initially, but also maintain long-term. And I've got a lot of options within each integration as well to look at, okay, everything from automated email updates to different tasks and global variables and activity parties and entity lookups. So a lot of flexibility, a lot of ways that I can build this out to match exactly what I need, customize it to my customer, their processes, and make sure that's easy to maintain long term. Speaking of maintenance, probably one of the other biggest components with a true tool like SmartConnect is error handling. It's the ability that this is completely built in. It doesn't need to be customized. It can not only automatically notify me if or when any errors occur, but also identify, okay, which map was that, which run was it, which records aired, why did they aired, and I can correct those directly from the SmartConnect interface. So I never have to leave SmartConnect to address any of these. I'm automatically notified via email. Free tools, some of the freemium and other options that are available out there this can really be a headache, not only initially, but especially long term. So that's really a big bonus when you're integrating this to make sure that you're set up for success, not only initially, but in the long term, and air handling is a big part of that. We showed some real-time examples. We also talked about scheduling, and I've got complete functionality and customization around scheduling to build out any type of schedule that I want to. So if I'm looking at each individual integration, those can be done on a daily basis, as often as every 5 minutes. I can look at, okay, I want this to run from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Maybe I want it to run only Monday through Friday. Maybe it's something like price lists or product books that I only want to update at the end of every quarter. Again, a lot of flexibility. I can completely customize this to match my schedule, and each integration can run on its own schedule. Again, as often as every 5 minutes if you'd like it to. So pretty near real time on that side of the fence. Looking at the PopDoc interface briefly, here's where you are able to build out each and every kind of PopDoc list that you'll then be able to embed as a widget inside any of those applications. So here's one of the ones that we had built out on the Business Central side. So sales and sales invoices. It's going to look very similar to what you saw inside the application, inside our demo earlier, and that's because it's really the same. And I'll touch on in just a moment how easy it is to go ahead and embed this. But here's where you're going to build out each individual PopDoc list you'd like to showcase, and then we'll show how easy it is to kind of embed that as well. If you saw on the home page, you can also build out your own really custom dashboards with PopDocs. The ability to not only, again, make data visual as we saw, but bring in multiple systems and multiple lists. So now we're looking at any customer with an outstanding balance. We're looking at open Zendesk tickets. We're looking at customers that have invested in training. Again, all of my kind of custom dashboard right here in one place across every application that I'm using, whether it's Business Central, whether it's CRM, or anywhere else. So how easy is it to really kind of build and embed some of those PopDoc widgets? How much time does that take? So the good answer is it takes really just a handful of minutes to build out everything that you saw today. And the reason is because PopDoc makes that pretty easy. So we enabled virtually every option in there. Yeah, you could go ahead and kind of pin these down if you want to. You can look at, okay, what actions do I want to be able to allow them to do within a widget? Do I want to make it very accessible, not very accessible? I can look at this from a security standpoint, and I can make it available to only specific users, teams, or roles. Yet to truly embed that, all I need to do is copy and paste the iframe language here, or from here as well, inside BC, inside customer engagement, and that's going to give me real-time access to everything that widget is pulling back. So very popular and very powerful on that side of the fence. Again, if I dive into security here, we can build out any lists, any widget, any features or functionality by particular users, by teams, by roles. So you can really scale that across an entire organization, make sure they have access to only the data you want them to have access to without everything else. And then here's where some of that automated reporting and exception reporting can come in. So as different tasks are met, this can come in via email, cut through the PopDoc interface, through our mobile app. A lot of flexibility and functionality on that side as well. All right, so kind of closing the loop on BC and customer engagement integration, or more display and not integration. Some items to consider. So one of the biggest things you want to look at is the true entities and objects that you want to integrate between the two. Again, some of the free solutions out there really are very limited. I think it's as small as 14 or 15 entities and objects that can be integrated. So if your business is using more of those between customer engagement or Business Central, that's where tools like SmartConnect can really come into play. Obviously, the true automation and the mapping of any field, any custom field, all of the nuances and tweaks that you have built out, that's a really important process. In addition to some of those things that you maybe need to quote unquote integrate, but by integrate we mean just display, that's where you can utilize a tool like PopDoc to make that much more seamless and easy from an implementation standpoint. Error handling is obviously a big one, so making sure that when we do need to truly integrate data, that we're able to monitor not only initially, but ongoing every integration, if or when any errors occurred, why they occurred, and get them resolved very quickly. So you really need a tool that has all of that built in, that has that built in from scratch. You don't need to build it from the ground up, or you don't need to really mess with, manipulate that, because as we know, time is time is money, and time is really more valuable than all these things. So when that's built in, that's going to make for a much better experience, not only for partners, but customers and everyone in maintaining their integrations down the road. And this kind of circles back as well to the last couple ones, and the flexibility to match each organization's business processes. So we're all using these applications in a little bit different way. We all run our businesses a little bit differently, given the nature of our industries and our businesses and the customers and partners that we do business with. So you really need to make sure that your integration or the tools that you're using to complement Business Central and customer engagement have that flexibility and can really match your organization and match the way that you need to work with your data and with each of these systems. That's why you invest in a system like customer engagement, like Business Central, because of its flexibility and ability to match your needs. You've got to, if you're incorporating other tools on top of that, really make sure they have the same flexibility. And then looking at support as well. So if you are working with these applications, if we run into snags, we run into errors, do we really have the support that we need to make sure we can not only get those resolved quickly and efficiently and on with our day, but also to make sure that we're maximizing each tool to the fullest extent. And that's where obviously we've got unlimited support options and support included, PopDoc and SmartConnect, to really make sure that we want to take care of you from beginning to end across that entire spectrum. So I appreciate everyone hopping on today. This was really awesome to get together with you all and show some of these things live and in person with BC and customer engagement. Hopefully get the wheels spinning on a few different ways that these can really work in tandem in ways you can not only integrate and build better integrations between the two, but also better utilize these systems without truly integrating data. So I appreciate everyone joining today. I see there's some questions, and I'll circle up with those individuals afterwards. But there's my direct contact information, and appreciate everyone hopping on. Have a wonderful rest of your Thursday, and look forward to catching up with you all soon. Thanks again for joining. Take care.